Drop. Screen flash. The high score. Boss laugh. Thumb sore. Same fight. Lost track of the time all night. Snacks gone. Eyes red. Still shouting one more. Instead, distracted gamers. Press start. Button mashing from the heart. Round one. Game on. We get hit. Go hard. Distracted gamers. Press start.
I don't want to wait for this podcast to get over. Original song, don't steal.
Do not steal. It is we're copywriting it.
This is constitute a copyright, original creative material.
Yep. We will take your ass to court. We have the best lawyer. So don't try us.
I've already got a beef with Mr. Dawson and his creek.
No man can own a creek. It's ridiculous. It's a navigable
absurd.
waterway.
And who names their child after a body of water?
Yeah, who would do that?
Well, technically it's their surname. Whose family's surname is a body of water?
Yeah, that's how that goes. That's the order that happened in, right?
Ross Lake, Michigan over here.
Yeah, include the lake. It's definitely not just Michigan, for sure. It's got to have the lake. Otherwise, how do you know?
Well, would you rather be Lake Superior?
Well,
Yes.
I mean, if the shoe fits, Rhett. If the shoe fits.
What kind of body of water would you be named after, Jason?
Probably a river.
Oh, river's pretty cool. Rivers could be pretty cool. Actually, it brought up an interesting point that we discussed earlier, since this podcast is mostly nonsense. What fictional advertising character would you like to have come to life? My answer is Count Chocula. Because he's actually an eternal vampire, but he feeds on delicious chocolate cereal.
God, who would I like?
I'd have to. I'm a huge Muppets fan, so Kermit the Frog.
Well, advertising character.
They were advertising characters for a very long time before they got their own show.
I'm going to say the Trix Rabbit because I want to shoot him.
You want to
end
hunt the
that
Trix
feud.
rabbit?
Yep, I do.
You know, you could get Tony the Tiger. He's great at every sport.
Yeah, that's true.
He would
True,
just
yeah.
dominate. What are you going to
dunk on
discriminate
children.
against sentient cartoon tigers?
Yeah, you jerks.
You bunch of douches.
Where? Show me in the rules where it says I can't have.
No, you show me. You show me, pal. All right?
It is the DG podcast. We have a new intro called the Dawson's Creek theme.
No, wait.
For our lives to be over. It's either that I jump between songs that I just randomly sing to people I run into. My fallback is Seal's.
Kiss from the Rose.
Kiss from a Rose. Yes.
It's because it came from a
The
banger
finest.
movie.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Jim Carrey's finest acting role. Actually, what is Jim Carrey's finest acting role? I would probably say Truman Show, if I'm going to be honest.
Truman Show was amazing.
There's a lot of subtlety to what he does in that movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I thought he did pretty well in The Majestic. The story was kind of but
It was a commentary on Hollywood's canceling people because of communism.
I'm going to say Dumb and Dumber, because, it's my favorite.
I didn't say what's your favorite movie. I said what's the best. His best
Well, it is
acting
his
role.
best. I believe he is a true moron. What's wrong with that?
Uh-huh. Well,
He
way
really
to just
sold it to me.
avoid the question.
Rhett, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've seen a singular one of Jim Carrey's serious movies. Why would I do that to myself? Why?
Well, those of us with refined and the refined taste where we consume these films with a pinky up, sipping the
Yeah.
finest sparkling grape juice.
Yes. Only the finest.
Good Lord. Well, it's a podcast. If you haven't noticed, look, there's a lot of topics going out this week. I'm just going to say that right now. The big discussions are the Harry Potter trailer and Mr. Snape, which we were aware of beforehand. We will be discussing that.
Right.
Also, the other big news is Stephen Colbert, Mr. Stephen Colbert, who is losing his show because of bad ratings, but somehow is qualified to write a film. That'll be an enjoyable conversation. But I'm pushing all of that
yes.
to the side because everybody's probably already talked about it. We will have our own takes. I actually have something interesting to bring up, something new. We have had our big discussion about the sort of the state of gaming and consoles, but we've had a lot of massive news to come out this week in relation to what's happening in the console. Well, what's happening in gaming in general. And it sparked this big conversation of, well, what exactly is going on? Which me and Ross actually kind of tried to wrap our minds around sort of the state of the gaming industry, and it's been quite difficult because things ain't looking so good.
No, Mr. Stark, they're not looking good.
No, Mr. Stark. So a lot of this early discussion is sparked by one specific news article from Industry Biz. You had John and Brenda Romero, who were basically old school people involved in the gaming industry, who were there for the last major crash, and they had some interesting things to say. The last year was something of an annus horribilis for Romero Games. Faced with a sudden funding rug pull, the studio had to downsize dramatically, but it's still hanging in there. Romero Games was set up in Galloway, Ireland, just over a decade ago by John and Brenda Romero, Game's foremost power couple. John, of course, is most well known for his pioneering work in Doom in the 90s, the game that helped kickstart the first-person shooter genre, while Brenda has an enormously long list of credits. Games like Jagged Alliance and Wizardry 8. Speaking to GameIndustry.biz, ahead of Game Republic's Dark and Doomy event in the Wakefield last week, John and Brenda reflected on hardships they face. I feel like the industry's in a horrible place. I mean, we were there in the 80s for the crash, and this is definitely crashier. There are so few people that have not been affected, or their partners have been affected, or they've worried about being affected. It's really a difficult time right now. Both agree that it's a difficult to see how it will end. John points out that Battlefield 6 did really, really well, only for EA to make layoffs in the studio behind it. I don't understand what that's all about. Brenda's confident that people are going to keep playing games, which I agree. This is really one of those times where I don't know, and you hear behind the scenes there's tremendous push towards teams using generative AI. Let's see. I know we're going to be okay, yada, yada, yada. But it's actually really been a terrible year for games across the board. And though they go on to comment on how they feel that things are just worse than they've ever been, you start to go, well, I mean, honestly, look at the state of Xbox and PlayStation. But then it's like, oh, well, things aren't so bad. The PlayStation 5, for which never happens, is actually increasing in price.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old console is going up in price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. PS5 is going, let's see, $550. It looks like we're adding about $50, if not $100. The PS5 Pro is going to $900.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh.
that's ridiculous.
Portal's going up 50. It looks like the PlayStation 5 base is going up 100. The digital version is going up 100. The PS5 Pro is going up 150.
Hey.
You're like, well, that's just a minor side case. I don't know what you're talking about. Things are going fine. What's the biggest video game right now in gaming?
Oh god, it's either like CS:GO or Fortnite.
Yeah, Epic Games has laid off a quarter of their company.
It's a good sign. It's really good.
The Fortnite people, with the biggest, most successful game right now, has dumped 1,000 people.
God damn. They had
This
1,000
week-
people to dump? Jesus.
More than apparently 1,000 people, but the layoff is due to a downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025. A downturn over 1 year requires laying off a quarter of your staff. And this is the game that's doing really well.
Mm.
But then it reminds me of all of the problems we've had in recent years. You sit there and you hear, oh, massive layoffs at studios owned by Microsoft. Oh, massive layoffs at studios owned by EA. Oh, Ubisoft practically had to sell themselves in order to stay
Yeah, they
afloat to China. And you're like, well, no, it's not that bad. Think about it. Some of the biggest failures in not just gaming, but pop culture across the board have happened in gaming in the past while. Concord is a massive, massive, massive failure, costing Sony hundreds of millions of dollars with zero return. Zero, because the game went away.
Mm-hmm.
Highguard completely crapped the bed and is gone.
Yep.
They purged their website. The game doesn't exist. They have deliberately refunded people who owned it digitally because of how bad that thing turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about how Skull and
Well, you
Bones
know-
was a huge investment by Ubisoft, and that went nowhere, despite the fact we will eventually become a Skull and Bones podcast.
Yes, it will
Yeah.
happen. It is inevitable, like death and taxes.
Death and Taxes, the DG
You
podcast,
know-
will rewrite
yeah.
itself as a Skull and Bones podcast. Silver has joined us. Oh no!
Oh my god.
Dear God.
Welcome, girl. Anyway, people are going to make comments on things.
I was going to say, you don't sell your soul to the devil when things are going well.
Probably not. I do sell it to the devil to have people forget who I am, so I can remain anonymous, though. I call it the Peter Parker style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, reference.
Anyway, what are you thinking, Ross?
Yeah, because I found, and I just sent it to you on your phone, but I found a chart that goes over, like, the y-axis is revenue and the x-axis is player count, best as we know.
Sure.
And Fortnite doesn't have the most players, but it is by far and away the best as far as revenue goes.
Dude, Candy Crush.
Yeah, Candy Crush is gonna be tough to beat. But like nobody comes close. I think the closest the one that comes closest is Genshin Impact, which isn't that like a gacha game? Isn't that like gambling?
I don't know. I've downloaded on PS5 and
No.
I played it a little bit, but it could get worse as time goes on. I don't know.
But yeah, so I mean, if that's that guy, the guy making all the money is having to lay off a quarter, which a quarter of their staff being 1,000 people, insane. But I don't know. That's not a good sign. Bad sign. Really bad.
Well, Jason, you might go, but Nintendo's doing well, right? The Switch 2
From
is
what I
that
can
they're
see,
actually decreasing production of the Switch 2 because of low sales.
I mean,
that
we're
doesn't
in what
surprise me at all.
the 5th or 6th year of the Switch 2? Oh wait, no, just the first year. Uh-oh.
Did you know console sales are so bad that they're about as bad as console sales were in like 95, 96?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
No. And this isn't just the console market. Ask yourself how a lot of these established brands are shaking themselves apart. We had a really bad Call of Duty recently. Just a bad Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it did not do well. It pissed people off actively.
But you're still going to sit here and be like, no, everything's doing fine. Well, Phil Spencer has been gone, and we have a completely new CEO from their AI division. We've heard rumors that they're going to include AI in the Xbox, where you could talk to your Xbox and ask the AI questions and help with your games, which sounds like it's going to really help your bandwidth and processing. No, that's fine. Despite that, Asha Sharma has actually come out and said that she wants to reset Xbox's brand image.
Oh.
I mean, they probably need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
skeptical as to whether or not they could pull it off, considering the new person isn't in gaming.
Well, a good way to reset the brand is maybe bring back an old friend, bring back a familiar face and give him a fresh paint of coat and put him out there for people to see. Oh man, we love this guy. This reminds me of the good old days. Thank God they're remaking Halo CE again and now releasing it on PlayStation.
Oh.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
Did you know that Microsoft has erased the controversial "This is an Xbox" marketing campaign?
Wow.
It's no longer a thing. They got rid of it.
You know what? Here's my hot take.
Uh-huh.
Bad idea, and I hated that. I thought it was a bad idea then. I think it's, but you know what I think it was? I think it was ahead of its time, and not in a good way. I think if they'd done that 5 years from now, it would be whatever. But they came out too fast, just like all the always online crap for consoles with the Xbox One. I think they knew where it was going. They just came out too early. And they shot themselves in the foot and disgusted people.
The first person over the wall is the one that takes the most bullets.
Mm-hmm.
A Microsoft spokesman said that Asha retired the "This is an Xbox" campaign because it didn't feel like Xbox. She's personally leading a reset of how we show up as a brand. Sure. But where does this go? I mean, Xbox, if anything, has increased prices of Game Pass, increased prices of the console, and still hasn't been able to successfully catch up with the other two. And you might ask yourself, well, what are they doing wrong? It's a good console. What are they doing wrong? Well, their games are bad. There's nothing there that'll bring everybody to the yard, if you will. Cat Cruz says that it's an AI Navi. Hey, listen. That'll go over well.
Yeah, really well. I mean, and we've talked about this before, but I mean, compare this era, because genuinely, this might be the best. I had really good luck with my original Xbox console.
Yeah.
It was probably the most reliable thing until this one. The Series X has been really good. I think its feature set's great. The menus are really good. It's powerful enough. I never noticed any problems. But it has nothing. I mean, compared to the 360 era, which was the least reliable console I've ever owned. I mean, PS3 had struggles that era too, and nobody remembers them really, because the Red Ring of Death was so ubiquitous. It was so ever-present. But what 360 did have was a really good Xbox Live architecture and exclusives.
Yep.
Something that PS3 did not have.
No. Not until late in the gen.
Way late. and it helped them pull it out. I think the only thing that saved the PS3 early on was that it was a Blu-ray player. Had it not had that, I don't know. I'm not sure how well it would have done. It may have done just as well because it would have been so much cheaper, but I don't know.
Well,
There was not much to play
especially
on it.
as late in that generation, the 360 really showed its age, and the PS3 games were looking better and better.
Yes. Yeah.
It was funny. I saw somebody make a comment online where they were talking about images from GTA 6.
Mm.
And they were like, look at the comparison between GTA 6 and GTA 5. GTA 6 makes GTA 5 look like a PS3 game, and it's like it was a PS3 game.
Good news.
Wait a minute.
Hey, you nailed it. Good guess,
And
huh?
in fact, it looked amazing.
It was a very good looking game. I mean, look, I'm not a huge Last of Us fan, but that game looked incredible. And frankly, the PS3 version still looks great.
Still looks good. It really
Yep.
does.
It really does. That console came into its own at the very end of the generation.
How about more news to indicate things are going well? Here is PS6 and Project Helix will likely start at about 50% higher than the current gen.
Oh my
Predicts
god.
analysts. You could see a $999 console
Yikes.
when the
I-
Pro is at $900 at the moment.
You know, back in the day,
Oh.
before the dark times of the COVID, when graphics cards were impossible to find, and now these days when RAM is apparently good as gold, you just you get to the point. Imagine 2018, and these guys were going like, "Yep, this generation's going to be $999. Can you believe it?" People would just go like, "Well, I'm going to build a PC for $200 more,
Mhm.
and it'll be just as powerful, if not better." But the problem is now is that you can't build that PC.
Nope.
You can't build that anymore. Not even if you scrounge and look for sales and deals on Newegg. I don't think that's possible. So,
Well, it obviously a clickbaity article title to
yes.
the podcast, but let me
Yes.
at least set a tone for you. We're looking down the road of an industry that is declining, in at least in the console era. Nintendo are reducing production of the Switch 2.
mhm.
The PlayStation 5 is increasing its price. A 5-year-old console is increasing its price. The Xbox has done so poorly, it's increased its price before and increased Game Pass, which is one of the big motivators to play on Xbox. Because even if the current gen games aren't anything to snuff at, you at least had backlogs for Game Pass.
Yep.
But now it's even more, and it's harder even to justify that as a purchase.
Mhm.
We look at major game companies doing poorly, either massive layoffs, shutting down studios, merging studios. We're looking at, Ubisoft alone is a massive indicator of the state of things. They can't come out with a guaranteed hit like they used to with Call of Duty, where Call of Duty used to come out and it was just successful. The last one was such a failure, it affected their stock price. And you might be sitting here, Rhett,
Yikes.
but remember Helldivers. Helldivers did great. Well, it did. But these are drops in the buckets compared to the state of the industry that seems to be pricing out consumers. We know from data
Yeah.
that most people buy maybe one game a year, that the vast majority of people that play are playing 4 or 5 games. Huge studios are shutting down or firing huge. How many weeks have we had this for the past couple of years doing this podcast where it's like, well, more people fired from this studio. Well, more people fired from this studio.
Oh yeah.
How many times do we have to report this before people realize that there is a shaking of the industry? Now,
Yeah.
by this, I mean, let's look back at 83? Was it 83 with the crash
I think so.
of the video game industry before?
I think
They were shoving out too much slop from third-party companies that were just regurgitating same games and putting different labels on it. It was like printing money because people would buy anything that was released because the game industry was going nuts. But eventually, this was a housing market crash of epic proportions that they all could see. That there was funny business going in the top end, that things were getting shoved out. They were putting too many games at too low a quality. And currently, I can't see that things are that different. Think about it. Things are getting more expensive, not just because of video card prices, because of mining of cryptocurrency, which has finally kind of stabilized, as RAM prices have gone out the roof because of AI generation, and electricity costs are getting higher. And now there's been concerns for quite some time when it comes to processors, because processors are kind of in shaky ground. And then we have shaky economic situations with tariffs, oil. Who knows what's going to happen with Taiwan? You think Taiwan getting invaded is going to help gaming? It's going to go really badly. Taiwan produces 90% of microprocessors, which is in everything. Do you think they're going to make a PS6 if Taiwan gets invaded? PS6 stops being a thing because they won't be able to keep up production, because suddenly a massive war shuts off your ability to get access to microprocessors. There are a myriad of issues that are also causing shakiness with increased price, issues with the economy. And then add on to this, there's less money that people are really committing to these things. Most people spend their money on 4 or 5 games. I mean, think about a current price game. The game doing really well right now, Crimson Desert. That game's like $80. If you're not doing well financially, that feeds you for a week, if not more.
Oh, if not more. Yeah, if you're single, I mean, that could be your whole month.
Yeah.
Depending on what you eat.
Yeah.
But
and
games are getting more expensive because AAA and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah.
Oh.
And we can't afford them because they're getting more expensive. Sorry, Ross, you were going to say?
No, and the reality is, like, because I was telling you, because we were talking about that game earlier today, it's like, listen, that game looks interesting, but I'm not spending $70 or $80 on a game from the people that made the MMO Black Desert, and now they've made a single-player game. Like, I don't trust that. Sorry.
As delicious as it sounds.
Yeah, it's delicious. I'm just not gonna risk it. Sorry, can't do that.
These are reasonable decisions that people make. We've talked about before that. I mean, going to the movie theater is becoming cost prohibitive. It's becoming more expensive.
Yep.
These are problems that are showing up in the industries where it's like, well, we'll increase price of stuff, and it's like at some point we're just going to decline. And I don't want to reduce this, because we know this is a problem. The games are just getting worse, especially AAA. They are, but there is more going on that we're struggling to see. And there's a bloat here of, I don't know if it's sustainable sort of situation.
No.
And we might already be seeing the housing collapse or being in the midst of it as things start to skyrocket in price and then less people are buying. Now, does this sound conspiratorial? I'm not trying to be Tim Pool here and everything's a civil war. But what I am trying to say is, think about it for a second. Do you actually spend that much money on gaming? Are you buying multiple games a year? Or are you just getting the subscription service?
Oh.
Not new games.
Not new games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm buying lots of old games for my Xbox and maybe some PlayStation 2 stuff.
And weirdly enough, there is a trend of people going to older stuff, more analog stuff. There's weirdly a trend of young people getting Walkmans and listening to tapes.
Good Lord.
Yeah. It might just be a trend and attraction, but it's like, I mean, there's literally a clause in Sony stuff that when you buy a game, it's written out clearly that you don't actually own it, even if you buy physically.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty standard for any type of software.
Well, it's a lot more explicitly that they're like, yeah, you don't and own any of this. And consumer rights being what they are, we're losing a lot of the, oh, I bought something, but I don't really possess it. I'm just licensing it from you.
Yeah.
But
It seems like
but
the streaming
even-
era has hastened the day.
Sure.
Yeah. What's even funnier about the end user license agreements, as they're called, most of them have some clause in there that says that that it basically that it's just software. It really doesn't do anything, just so that you can't claim that you bought this software and you wanted it to do X and it doesn't do X. In their end user license agreement, they'll point to a clause that says, "See, it says it doesn't actually do that, even though that's why you bought it." It's just so that they can cover their butts in the case of a lawsuit.
Sure.
Like if someone's too stupid to operate it.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's say that the software has a bug in it that ends up deleting your bank account, something like that. You can't really say, I bought this banking software. Well, the company says, well, it's actually not banking software. See, it says it in the license agreement that everybody just clicks on yes and doesn't actually read.
well, let's get back to the game industry. Things are getting weird. Layoffs of 1,000 people is huge for Epic Games, especially when they are sort of a winner right now when it comes to revenue.
Yeah.
And you're like, but
I mean,
everything-
that's serious for just about any industry. 1,000 people getting laid off,
it's
but
a quarter of the
that's
company.
one company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of a dip in Fortnite.
Yeah. Not even that it's failed. It's just a dip.
Console sales
And-
are the worst they've been since 95, 96.
Mm. And maybe because we've talked about now the hero shooter, right? And when we were talking about it before, we were talking about it because games like Concord and then later Highguard have failed, and it's like, well, you're chasing a trend that's no longer there. But maybe what was actually happening was they were chasing a market that's like they're making too much for the market, and there's not enough demand. It's not that it's the trend is gone per se.
Market
It's that-
saturation.
Yeah, it's that it's just you're making a thing that like who has time for this? Because well, I have the one, I don't need it. Like we don't
Well,
need another
we-
American truck manufacturer. We've got enough. There's enough people making trucks. We don't need another one.
And we've talked about this before, where the cost to move over from a game that you've already sunk so many hours into, they've got to really make it worth your while. I've got to know when I'm coming over to your game that I've sunk 80 hours into this other game and I've got all the skins and all the achievements and stuff. Is it really going to be worth my while to start over from level 1?
I mean, that's an interesting point. I think most of the time, they chase where the trend is. So most players will actually run from one shooter to another based upon where everybody's going. You'll find like everybody playing Call of Duty, and then the new Battlefield comes out, and then they all kind of shift over.
But
Yeah.
there is kind of an expectation that going over to that will be worth the effort.
Well, sure. I mean, Battlefield 6 was successful for a reason. The last Black Ops was not for a reason. That doesn't mean they're
Yeah,
gonna switch
uh-huh.
over. But when they do, they tend to drag the majority of the people with them.
Well, and like Romero said, like even though it was successful, Battlefield 6, I mean, they still had to lay people off.
Yeah.
And
Which should start to ask, like, what's going on in the industry.
yeah, like maybe you're spending too much on things and not getting enough for like whether it's this game or whether it's your company as a whole, whether it's other projects that you're pursuing. Maybe this market cannot hold what you're trying to do.
Well, and
As a
bloated
whole.
budgets are definitely a big factor, but we're also not seeing sales. Like they're spending more and more on bigger and bigger games that are selling less and less.
Yeah.
It's almost like And it's funny, some of the biggest failures, like I said before, are happening as we're having a massive decline.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's easy to
but-
look at the economy aspect of things, but then sales weren't this bad when the housing market shit its pants in 2008
No,
by any means.
no.
So it's like it's I'm sure it's a part of it, no doubt, but it was going on
But-
before, right? Like I don't know, it's weird.
I would say that there's probably, obviously there is an economic aspect, because if your prices are going up everywhere, you're looking to economize, so you're not spending as much because your dollar just doesn't um, stretch as far as it used to. But I think that there's also been so many failures recently in the video game. I mean, there's also from the economic perspective of the game company, their budgets have gone so overboard that they need to basically have a surefire bomb that everybody buys in order to just make a little bit of money. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're spending themselves into a problem here.
Sure.
And then because there have been so many issues with games that have been coming out being not as fun, being super buggy, uh, there's been a lot more hesitancy to even invest in games. I shouldn't say invest, because it's not like they go up in value for the most part. But why would I put my money into your new shiny game if I'm not sure that it's worth my money? Where I could go back and buy a game that's 20 years old that I know is going to be worth my money because it's only a couple bucks over on Steam now.
Well, and we've analyzed these things to exhaustion about how they're spending too much money and
Yeah.
the games are bad. But then this is also a factor in the movie industry. You're spending too much money
Yeah.
and the movies are bad. And I don't want to be hyper reductive, because it seems like there's more to this. Almost like people are spending less on entertainment than just bad quality stuff. And it doesn't have to be a simple answer. It could be all of the above. But there
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like a linchpin that we're not touching. That it's not just bloated movies or bloated games. It's not just bad quality, that they're just not making stuff people want to enjoy. It's not just the industry's changing and it's morphing into something else, that we might be in a transitional period. It's not just the failure of a lot of these industries that gone woke, so to speak, or the DEI stuff, bad management, the hiring a bunch of people, pushing it out, and then firing a bunch of people. Like, all of these can be true, but it feels like we're looking at some sort of economic bubble that can't be cruising
Yeah,
in the same
yeah.
direction it has been. And it can't just be they're making bad stuff. Something else has to be happening, because we are spending less
Well-
and less. We are spending so much less than we used to 30 years ago,
Yeah.
40 years ago. And the game industry is supposed to be the biggest ever.
Yeah, and Rhett, you and I were talking, and I threw out the idea. Well, maybe they're switching over to, because we were kind of focusing on the consoles, right? Because that's where we have some good data.
Sure.
Well, maybe they're going to maybe they're going to from console to PC. Maybe that's it.
Sure.
And I looked up some vague data initially, and there has been an increase in Steam users, like monthly user activity. There's been a considerable increase, but then I found another bit of data, and it was interesting because it showed, and again, this is all very rough. This is not a precise science here. Like where they're from, right? Like if they're English speakers, or somewhere else, and they have it listed like it's a bar graph per year, and then different colored sections of the bar graph. Well, hey, guess which language section has had the most increase over the last few years, since 2017?
I don't know.
China.
Yeah.
was
And
wondering if that
the
might be-
problem with so my initial idea, and that perhaps maybe the data was supporting initially, well, that's not being supported now because look, if the English bar was going up, there might be something there. But the problem is the China color is going up, and that makes no sense because consoles were banned in China until 2015. 2015 is in the exact smack dab middle, basically, of the 8th gen consoles. You know, the ones that sold not as good as the previous generation. So that makes no sense. Maybe it's not that then. So they're not just going from console to PC, as my initial, not theory, but idea. You know, my initial thought was, because if it's China, well, they've had no impact on, up until 10 years ago. They had no impact on gaming. So
Well, and if PCs are draining all of the players to PC, you can't make a PC anymore. I mean, they're so dang expensive to make a really good one. RAM has doubled, tripled, or whatever. Video cards are still quite expensive. I mean, to see enough of an increase to be draining the rest of the industry would have to be confusing that they're also spending premium prices on building these things.
Yeah, and the only thing if let's just say that was the case, which I don't think it is, based on the new set of numbers I got, it would have to be because of the games, because the variety of games and like I mean, if you want to play an indie game, you're playing it on a PC most likely. Some of them do make it to console, but you know, especially the ones that get real viral, they're on PC. You know, these what was that article a month ago? The friend slop, you know, the co-op.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like those are on PC. They do not go to console as a rule, unless it's Among Us.
They're also not premium priced games.
Well, exactly, right? So you can buy more games.
Fortnite has a skin for characters from Peak to come out recently. And the skin costs 3 times as much as the actual game Peak.
Holy cow.
Oh, man. It's all, and I told you this, but I love that there's a skin in a game where you can shoot them. And the characters in Peak are children. They are kids. Oh.
Silver, you like shooting children?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
She's an awful person, everybody.
She is a kaiju monster.
Come in and say that and leave.
But
She's a bad person. She's she's starting to try to make a group with an interesting logo and growing a tiny mustache.
Oh.
I'm writing a book.
Writing a book. My struggle.
She's writing a book in jail.
It's not well written, but it gets people excited.
And yet it's still not.
You know, I think people too often try and rush to Cop Crew says she loves Pete. People too often try to rush to being Nostradamus and predicting the future. And sitting here and go, I know what's going to happen. There is a crash coming and everything's falling apart. I can't say that for certain. I lack the foreknowledge of a superstar like a Miss Cleo, if you will.
Uh-huh.
But I could tell you things don't look good in the industry. They don't. The numbers don't look good. Nintendo, who's classically normally fine, reducing production on Switch 2s?
Yeah.
Well, and so early into its life. I mean, what, a year and a couple months?
The console that's supposed to be succeeding the winner, the PlayStation 5, is increasing its price after 5 years being in the market. Does that scream healthy?
Not
Or
so
are they
much.
just trying to what, squeeze as much water out of that stone as they possibly can? Because they're not getting the return on their investment that they kind of need.
And it's interesting too, like, because Nintendo, their whole thing is games, right?
Sure.
Sony now, I mean, gaming is a big part of their company. It didn't used to be as big. They had so many other things going on 20, 30 years ago. But now it is a major part of their business. Microsoft is the only one where, like, if Xbox goes away, well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad for Microsoft. Although we know now that Microsoft is also having problems.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, the fact, because when Xbox is doing badly, you just kind of write it off as like, yeah, well, it's the sideshow for them. Like, they don't really care. They were happy to operate at a loss, but now that Sony, where PlayStation has become a major moneymaker for them, like that, it's an important part of their business. It's not 1998 anymore, where they're deciding to jump in and make some money in the gaming business. But you know what? We still got the TVs, the Vios. Oh my God, the movie industry's huge for us. Well, those are long gone. And the fact that they are failing to, I don't know, meet the demand or meet the market where it wants to be is not a good sign. It's kind of shocking.
Yeah, there is a disconnect from what the companies are producing and what the market can handle.
Yeah.
There just is. And where that goes is going to be a big question, because there's going to have to be a reset where stuff just is going to have to dump in price or become cheaper or not as big and over the top and expensive. When classically, more graphics, more expensive, more, faster hardware was always the direction everything was going. It's like, that's not necessarily something that needs to be true. No. I mean, we're talking about doom and gloom about the industry, but let's be honest, really good games have come out, but they're not AAA.
No. Right.
No.
Right.
They're not full price AAA.
Yeah, not either.
$20, $30, $40 games.
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of those things where you said, obviously, we can't forecast the future, but we can make some educated guesses. And I'm going to guess that if the industry doesn't take a good hard look at itself and just expects to continue operating in the manner that it has operated in for the past forever, that we might see a crash. That we might see a lot of these companies.
It feels like it.
Yeah. That we might see a lot of these companies, filing for bankruptcy and selling off assets, and a whole bunch of stuff like that is
bought up by China.
But the thing is that I don't think they're so far gone in that direction that they can't take a good hard look at themselves and say, you know what, there's a bunch of things that we can do to make sure that we're not going to, run into this problem. I think that, we've mentioned a lot of them, using their budgets wisely and analyzing the market and seeing what games are maybe oversaturated, what type of games are oversaturated, and
Jason,
looking for places where they can.
This sounds like a reasonable direction that companies should and probably should be doing. That there's no rationality with the decision making they do.
You're right.
I'll remind you, Sony spent hundreds of millions on a game that did so poorly they pulled it from shelves. We just had a High Guard that wasn't even like pandering or woke or DI, whatever. It was just bad. It was a bad game that no one wanted to play.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, how much did Sony pay for Destiny? What was it, like $3 billion?
Yeah.
Oh, not Destiny, Bungie.
Yeah.
And what's that got? A marathon? A middling at best extraction shooter?
There's people are arguing about what's going on with the Marathon lately, because there's been some rumors that a lot of Marathon hype is being propped up by shills and bots and stuff. There's no evidence for that, and it's like even if it's not true, Marathon should be a banger of its. Like, look, I was there when Destiny came out. I didn't care for it. And then Destiny 2 came out, and I still didn't care for it. Now we got Marathon, which I think it feels like its reputation sounds worse than the Destiny games are. At least the hype is.
Yeah. I mean, because look, I didn't like Destiny 2 very much. I played Destiny, the first one. I enjoyed it, but I was playing it with my brother, so take that with a grain of salt. I didn't keep playing it, so that also says something.
When you stopped co-oping, you stopped.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
The hype for Destiny was undeniable.
Absurd, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like there was no question about whether it was grassroots or not. People were genuinely excited about it.
I knew people who bought PlayStation 4s just to play Destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Battlefield 6, people were genuinely excited for it. Now, I think Destiny was way more hyped. I don't know. Battlefield 6 was people were really excited because after 5 and 2042, people were ready for a back to basics. Yeah. Like, people were ready for a new Battlefield 6. They were ready for a Battlefield that was more like the old ones. And so people were hyped. I was one of them. And I don't think there was any question about whether that hype was legitimate or not. People figured, people are excited. Whereas this, I mean, there's been streamers who have been like defending it like really blatantly on their stream. Like, well, don't shit all over it, because if you do that, we just get, Call of Duty 35. It's like,
well, this was the excuse when it came to Star Trek. Watch it and support it, not because you like it, but because if you don't, we won't get more bad Star Trek.
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
Like, you just have to support it because.
Just because.
Right.
Better.
Right. It's like, we don't want bad Star Trek. We want good Star Trek. We need to not support bad Star Trek, so they'll get good Star Trek. The thing isn't we have to support bad Star Trek to get more bad Star Trek. The logic is just not there, people.
Well, sure, but I it's more of an example of mirroring it to the gaming industry.
I think it goes for the same with gaming. We need to not support bad games, so they will not, so they will focus on trying to figure out what makes a game good.
The thing is, I don't think they could figure it out because we aren't supporting bad games. I mean, look at Starfield. We like it did badly because it was bad.
Yeah.
And they spent way too much money making Starfield. And I don't think they learned any lessons from that. I think they think, well, the next game we got to spend more money and get it, if we spend more money, then we'll get it right. It's almost like gambling. I lost some money, so I'm going to put more in so that my return can be bigger. And then I lose more money. And it's that addiction circle where if I just keep committing more money, that eventually it'll pay off. And it's not. It's not paying off. You're not making good games. And I don't even know if they have the rational capability in their pea brains to understand how to make a successful game anymore. And I'm not just talking fun, just good or successful. Like, Starfield is just boring. It's all of the things he wanted. It's the Peter Molyneux throw everything at the board. Look at all these possibilities of what you could do in this game. You could do this, this, and this. And you get there and it's just empty space horseshit. It's all I wanted to do was make a spaceship and put a crew in it. I wanted to be a Star Trek captain. That's all I wanted from Starfield. And I end up wandering around being involved in like the circular world thing of you get reborn into a new world to redo the cycle to blah blah. And it's terrible. Ew, gross. I don't like it. Ew.
Starfield was so fascinating because it comes out And on paper, it's like, oh, this, like you said, this is everything that should, this is what we want. And then you start playing it, and you go like,
Skyrim
oh
in
my
space.
god, this feels so old. It's so dated. I mean, they just didn't you just didn't do anything since Skyrim, just nothing. We're just doing the same old thing. Oh, okay. Well, this is really boring. Like, god damn. I mean, so much so, Brett, do you remember when after I tried Starfield, I went to the Outer Worlds, and I was just, even though that game is mid as hell.
Yes. It is
I
so
was just
much
like-
more character and color and interest. Starfield was almost dull in its like designs of everything. It's like space people. Yay.
Yep.
Outer Worlds is like, well, we're quirky weird people. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just interesting stuff to look at.
My god, they have character. They are characters.
They're
Good
all
lord.
characters. Hey, everybody, we're going to artificially try and create emotion in this game by picking whatever character you have the closest relationship with and killing them partway through the game. Not decision based upon story or anything, chosen mostly because you have the closest relationship with that. A pandering, manipulative way to get you really emotional and upset because the one character you developed your romance with gets murdered. But guess what? Those characters don't have personalities. And the one character that got murdered, I didn't actually like that much. And I kind of was glad she died because I could pick a better character, or at least somebody I thought was more attractive. Does that make me a bad person? No, because these characters aren't real. They have no
Just
feelings.
like my Android wife.
Just like my Android wife. I punch because I care.
That's right.
I would like Silver to say things. Silver,
Oh,
how you doing,
Don't
champ?
sound so disappointed. Jesus.
I'm so disappointed.
You holding together there, Bucko?
Oh, barely. Anyway,
how you
gang.
doing? How you doing there, little camper?
You doing
How's it
alright?
going, Slugger?
You
You
doing
doing all
all
right
right,
there,
Slugger?
champ?
Did you miss the
You-
part where I started singing in the beginning? I don't want
I
to
did,
wait
actually.
for our lives to be over.
Repeat the entire thing for me.
What will it be? Silver. I actually changed the lyrics to be about. I wrote the lyrics to be about the podcast. My original song,
Ooh.
Don't Steal.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
I don't want to wait for this podcast to be over. I'm sure listeners really love my dulcet tones when I sing.
Oh, how could they
I know,
not?
that's why I insist on you singing.
Cap Crew says maybe they hit the infrastructure gap. AI is not ready for to tailor gaming experiences. It's not, and they ran
No.
out of ideas
No.
of new mechanics or plots to appeal to the gaming population. Well, that's a major fault on their end, and if the AI is going to rescue them, then that is a desperate ploy. I mean, there are quite a few industries that are struggling, and they're hoping AI will bridge the gap of production to suddenly dramatically increase productivity. A lot of industries are betting on AI, sort of skyrocketing a lot of industries. It hasn't paid off yet. And if you're gambling on we make bad games, hopefully AI will fix that. That's to tell you from somebody who watches the market a lot, AI has been aggressively invested in, and it's early for it to actually take over and improve productivity. It's way too early.
Yeah.
And we might, especially like Microsoft, may have gone too hard on AI, and they're not getting the returns they're hoping for.
Yeah.
Well, not
Um,
only that, but nobody wants the AI to be that intrusive yet.
Sure, involved, but it's not even like improving productivity in workplaces.
Right. But we were talking earlier about Microsoft in basically trying to crowbar AI into every nook and cranny of the Xbox experience, and we're like, ew, that sounds really bad. Let's not do that. But
Yeah, through Copilot, sure. They've actually got a lot more problems with their AI behind the scenes than Copilot.
oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Copilot has been so successful. They've tried to reduce what it does in Windows, but really, really just double down in the Xbox world there.
Anyway, doom and gloom, the industry's crashing, yada, yada, yada. But if you thought this is where it ended with hot takes and bad opinions, you got another thing coming. I'm pushing this to the news dump.
News Dump Online. This is the Distracted Gamers. Connecting you now.
Hey everybody, it's the news dump. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
You got another thing coming.
Well, first, really quickly, a bit more Xbox related news. Our new CEO at Xbox is looking for a lot of ways to improve the Xbox experience and maybe lower Game Pass prices. And it has been proposed that at least they're looking into the possibility of including Netflix in a bundle with Game Pass.
Good Lord.
Which is actually not a horrific idea.
Right?
No. Not a bad idea.
Additionally, on top of this, they're looking at adding another Game Pass tier that only allows you access to the first-party games from Xbox that will be cheaper because they're looking at a way to allow more people to have access to Game Pass that might not be willing to spend the absurd prices that are currently available.
First hit is free, kid.
All right, well, let's hit some of the big, horrifically devastating news, and I'm going to start out with one of the things that not everybody is talking about. There was a massive lawsuit that came through this week.
Oh.
Things have gone really interesting directions, everybody. That's right, the social media company Meta and video streaming services YouTube has been found liable for harming young people with their features that have been found to be addictive and causing mental distress. Meta had to pay $4.2 million in combined compensatory and punitive damages. YouTube must pay $1.8 million. This bellwether case, which was brought by a now 20-year-old woman, had accused social media companies of creating products as addictive as cigarettes or digital casinos, citing features like infinite scroll, algorithm recommendations. She sued Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, and Google's YouTube, which claiming they led to anxiety and depression. Here's a few things. Do they make things in such a way to encourage you to constantly engage in an addictive way?
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of do. Is social media actually beneficial to our mental states? Probably not. I mean, we're looking at how depressed and on psychoactive stimulants to try and deal with depression and anxiety, and how awful newer generations' mental health is. And it's like, social media ain't helping. And it looks superficially, you might go, oh, well, people could do what they want to. How come she's trying to blame it? But it's like, we really don't know the long-term effects of all of this heavy social media engagement. I mean, doom scrolling is a thing. The fact that you keep going and you can't put it down because you have to see the new thing. Because the addiction to the little dopamine hit, the little endorphins you get, and the addiction to novelty, seeing something new constantly over and over again. Is it wrong to suggest that they've built these things in such a way to encourage engagement in an addictive way? Not really. Is this causing detrimental effects to people's mental health? Yeah.
Seems to. Sure seems like it.
But what this does is it open up to the fact that they're now liable. And that's going to cause a huge amount of problems.
Yeah.
It ain't good.
Does this mean that everybody and their dog is now going to be suing social media because they didn't succeed in life?
Well, that's my plan. I don't know if I haven't told you guys this yet, but this is what I'm looking into.
Capcur says this is fascinating. It really is. The case is crazy. I feel like it's not wrong, but also disengages personal responsibility. See, that's absolutely true as well. See, it's funny. There was always the argument when it came to things like cigarettes, which this law actually went through the same strategy in accusing the cigarette companies that the product nicotine is addictive, but there is a degree of personal responsibility and decision making when it came to engaging with the product. But it's like, how much does the addiction remove your decision making and your ability to control yourself when it comes to what you're doing? And I don't know if there's the cleanest answer. Obviously, there's culpability to some degree with these companies, especially if if you could prove that they deliberately create these social media products, if you will, to be addictive and heavily engaging. What does this cause? Now, Jason suggested, we're going to see a lot more lawsuits. I don't think that's even really the biggest problem here. I think this opens up the floodgate of accusations of social media across the board globally, which could force changes in how they do things, force governments to go after them in their own way for compensatory damages or things across the board. What does YouTube look like? Because the original issue with things like YouTube is YouTube wants to act like it's a electrical company or your phone company. Yeah. They're not really responsible with what people do with it, their utility. They're just providing the telephone line. They're not responsible for what's on there. But here's the problem. YouTube doesn't actually act just like a phone line. They curate the content that comes through. They choose who gets to make phone calls and who doesn't, so to speak, if we're using this analogy. They also build their platform to be more addictive, like making your phone more addictive to call more people. This is an active decision-making thing on their end. And I don't know how long they could have gotten away with acting like, no, we're just a phone company. It's like, well, I don't think that game could be played anymore. And what role does this have in society? I don't have clean answers, but this causes a huge break in where this goes. Like, I don't know. I don't know. YouTube go away? Probably not.
No.
YouTube dramatically change how you search things on the algorithm. If they're going to be liable, then they're going to be responsible for the content, or at least how they build their platform. Do they get to start purging channels or whatever? Like, what
we're reverting back to 2011 YouTube. It's going to be Fred and Annoying Orange.
I'm going to throw it back to you guys as to what you think is going on here.
Well,
I'm thinking that people are going there. There is a tendency in our country when somebody is successful at something that other people follow suit. So that's one of the reasons why I said, people are going to be blaming YouTube and they're going to be riding on this bandwagon. They're going to be trying to see if they can get some recompense back from YouTube for, whatever failures or therapy or whatever that they are going to pin this to. It could be that YouTube decides, you know what, from now on, we're not going to curate. This is all on you. And so they can then act a little bit more like the utility company that they want to be. I don't know. I want to say that it's making too much money.
So that almost makes me sound like they're going to curate more.
Yeah.
That could be.
But it'll be in a different direction.
In a bad direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where there's too much money right now involved in YouTube for it to just disappear. So I think they're going to do what they can to salvage the situation, whether that looks like you said, more curation, more, you can't post that here because we'll get in trouble. I think one of the problems that they're running into is that if I go into YouTube, they're recommending things to me. They're trying to keep me on there, trying to keep me engaged, and that's really kind of what got them in trouble in the first place. So maybe there won't be recommendations coming after videos now?
They might
Maybe
have to
it'll
change
just be
how
up to you.
well, imagine Instagram. They might have to change how Instagram functions so
Yeah.
that it's not, so they can prove that they're not actively doing stuff to engage people in addiction. And here's the problem. Human beings have a natural proclivity to associate with common, to gather around other people. It's a protective instinct within us to find other people to associate with. And the problem with social media is it creates this, it preys on that human need to find other people to gather around, associate with, but it doesn't actually fulfill it in any satisfying way because these human interactions aren't real human connections.
Right.
They're sort of superficial. So it's playing on your need to engage with other human beings, but it's not actually fulfilling those in any satisfying way. Does social media inherently prey upon human instinct and desires and whatnot? We have another comment. I can see the companies pulling a quick one to get the licensure and sidestep the privacy laws so that they can age gate things. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was going to say, that's what I think. They're probably going to go hard on age gating. Like, you have to prove identity. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of a thing.
Well,
So that way it like furthers, well, it's on you. We didn't, it's on you.
Well, people always balk at, states have already done this, trying to ban people under 18 from social media. But then it's like, to be fair, developing brains affected by sort of a endorphin hit addiction platform. I mean, is this degrading freedoms, or is this the right decision to protect people from what could be not as clearly harmful as something like a drug, but mentally harmful in ways that we really don't fully understand because we've only been engaged with social media for 20 years?
Yeah. Very new. Well, and God, even the era of social media in our pockets is like, what?
Very new.
15, 13 years old,
Yeah.
I mean, because, MySpace in the early Facebook days, but you had to go log on a computer to see that.
Right.
Silver, how do you feel about about all of this?
I fully expect there.
I just like your, he's asking me questions.
Yeah. No, it's just further thinking about it because pretty much since, I don't know, like middle school is when, social media has been fully accessible from your pocket. Possibly even before, probably like 5th grade for me. And not all of us had phones, and I still had a flip phone.
Rock on.
Which was great. I had to buy minutes and everything.
Rock on.
So, yeah, and then later going into middle school, suddenly it's become more prevalent, like, oh, people have phones, here we can access, social media now, and it's when people started to go nuts on it.
Well, consider this. I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to ask you another question. There was a anthropology strange thing that happened in Southeast Asia, like the Tonga, Solomon Island, Samoa, that sort of thing, where classically women who were more voluptuous, bigger ladies were considered more attractive. And suddenly, anthropologists got really confused and upset because suddenly, across the board, women were developing eating disorders. Like massive issues with eating disorders, and they couldn't understand it. And what did they trace it to? The advent of television. That they started to compare themselves to other people. Social media creates, obviously in men, but it's been a huge issue in women, in self-esteem issues, anxiety, depression. None of these encourage women to feel okay in themselves, creating eating disorders. One, self-perception, and social media exaggerates all of these problems, especially when you are a young girl going through this. does it really help you?
Right.
Was social media even remotely a net benefit? Did you make friends? I mean, how do you see it in those contexts?
Well, yeah, in those contexts, like at that point, it's like everyone that I was friends with, I already knew in real life. Same with a bunch of other people. So it's like you didn't gain friends from social media. You just had it because it was the new thing. And yeah, all it did was make you feel horrible. I mean, heck,
Were you
it went
intimidated
from-
by my sexy pictures?
Oh yeah, go on there, go on to Facebook. It's like, there's Rhett posing again.
I'm so
I'm a
jacked, you
seventh
guys.
grader and I'm terrified.
That's right. I've been your friend forever. Well, since you
Yeah.
were in middle school, but I've known you forever.
So yeah, it went from, because it kind of happened in the middle of middle school, and you could see this dramatic shift from people were just you could see they were happier, then suddenly there's a dive, and then the suicide rates go up. Like in my own school, that happened,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I mean, should we? It's funny. These are sort of mundane things, but it's like, have we really sat down and asked the question, is it actually good for our brains? The constant connection, the constant addiction to your phone. I mean, how
Heck
many
no.
times do you walk down the street, see somebody looking at your phone or looking through the phone? What's the classic joke from Louis C.K., where he's like, you're watching people at like the ball dropping on New Year's Eve, and everybody's watching it through their phones. And he's like, you know what has really good resolution? Real life. Real
Yeah.
life is
The best
clear.
resolution.
It looks really good. And you're taking videos and footage of things you're never going to look at again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a
Why not live in the moment
I have
as
a
opposed to
fun
obsess over
anecdote.
it? What's that, Jason?
So my wife and I went out on a date. I forget what the restaurant was, but we had to wait before they could seat us at our table. So we were chatting to each other. We were talking to each other, and the waitress sees us, and as she's taking us over to our table, she says to us, "It's so nice that you two were talking to each other." We didn't notice. But then we looked back at the lobby where everybody was waiting to get to their tables. Every single person was there with someone else. They were all looking at their phones. Every single one of them. They had someone there.
This is a thing.
They could talk to them.
This is a real thing, because people, and it's like, people feel lonelier than they've ever been, and they still lack the capacity to connect with people individually.
If anything, it's gotten worse.
Well, and
Yeah.
we've had serious questions last week about what really media is going to look like, because people are addicted to the little short videos. I have a secret hope that having long form discussions, thoughtful discussions, if not stupid and poorly educated on, thoughtful discussions about things, that encourages people to engage with us and engage with topics at hand, and perhaps engage in more long form content. Not necessarily because I want the podcast to be successful, though I do. It's more of, this is the type of content I want to see. I want to see a younger person engaging. I mean, this makes me sound so freaking old saying younger person. I want to see a Silver engaging with long form content and thinking about things in thoughtful ways, and maybe coming to the conclusion that we're wrong or they're wrong or whatever, but at least engaging the topics in a good way, and thinking about the world around them and being critical of the world around them, as opposed to simply consuming and taking things in microcosms of, I mean, you can't really ask questions about the world around you when everything you see has to be in like 30-second sound bites on a TikTok video, where you're so bored that even listening to it is not enough. You have to see half of the screen where they're on a cell phone game doing the surf around the city or whatever.
Subway
that's
surfers.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. And it's just, social media is not helping. Final thoughts, we really should move on, because we're going to have another big discussion after this.
I had a teacher once who was like, guys, this is an hour, 15-minute class. I know a lot of you are going to turn out and go to your phones. Do I need to play like one of those mobile games while I do the lecture?
Oh my god. Just Subway Surfers.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
purely joking, but he was just calling them out on it. I'm like, ha!
Somebody understands their audience. All right.
Social media bad.
It's time we've had this discussion, everybody.
Brett's favorite topic.
Snape is black.
Oh my god.
We have had our trailer
Oh, so
for
stupid.
Harry Potter. Now, I'm going to preempt this conversation with a full disclosure. I don't like Harry Potter.
Oh.
What?
Now, it might be unfair that I don't like Harry Potter, but I don't like Harry Potter. Now, I'm going to answer this by going, Harry Potter came out when I was in like high school, and it was children's nonsense to me.
Yeah, you were a little old when it came out.
I was edgelordy by the time Harry Potter came out. I was like, whatever, this is children bullcrap. I'm so cool into Warhammer. I don't know what I was doing. Whatever was cooler than I was reading Dune and not Harry Potter. Dune, where people murder each other all the time. But we had Harry Potter. Now, that's not to say I've seen every movie at least once.
Alright.
The music's fun and enchanting. They've got a little bit of fun feel to them. I'm not engaged with the Harry Potter world. I just aren't. As much as I find the world sort of interesting, I actually have zero attachment to any of the characters. Not Harry, not Ron. I mean, kind of Snape.
Snape is great.
Little bit of Voldemort. I just like the weird, comically evil, like stupidly evil, where you start asking questions of, he cast a complex death spell to kill Harry in his crib. How come he just didn't throw the baby out the window?
Just slam him against the ground.
Babies are not hard to kill, you guys. They're very easy to kill.
Just
I don't know.
American History X him against his crib. What's he gonna do?
I don't know why he has to cast this complex death spell and then have his mom save him, causing the scar and blah blah blah. And it's like you could kill baby really easy there, Voldemort.
I'm gonna make a giant poster just of Rhett. It just says, babies are easy to
Babies
kill,
are
guys.
Well, just have me pointing, standing next to Voldemort, being like, "Dude, babies are really not that hard to kill." I don't know why you had so much trouble.
You and
Like an
Voldemort standing
infomercial.
over a crib.
Dude, I can show you
Killing
1,000
this
ways
small
to kill this
child.
kid. So
Look, it's an
setting.
orphan that we adopt and abandon.
Well, I'm saying it's easy. I'm not saying you should.
Okay.
I got to pull back on that lest the lawsuits come in. That being said, we have a new Harry Potter show. Extremely expensive, coming from Amazon. How expensive? Nobody knows. Rumors have come out that this is costing like $1 billion. That's probably not true. Likely
Would be funny.
would be funny. Likely it's probably something closer to like a $20 million an episode, which is still a big gamble for WB, which is being sold off because they ain't doing well financially.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is a financial
And
risk for old WB.
Especially with them doing something as controversial as this.
I
On top
apologize.
of all of that.
Well, yes. I apologize. I missed a comment. Cap Crew said excessive social media use decreases memory recall. I agree. It decreases the wave linked with memory. Spindles, low spindle levels are highly linked to dementia development later on in life. And in fact, a lot of people have found that they're using not just social media, but the internet to replace long-term memory. Where you're not actually recalling deliberate information, that you use Google to search it and then get your answer, so you're not actually committing it to memory, which could be a long-term issue when it comes to internet use and social media and blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk thinks he could fix all of this just by having our brains plugged into a chip and completely replacing our long-term memory with the internet.
Cool.
Look forward to that
Hey, there
future,
we go.
everybody. Cyberpunk all
Not
the way.
dystopian at all.
Anyway, moving back to Harry Potter. I also want to preface this before I turn it over to you guys with a little bit of explanation. I know some of you, depending on your political persuasion or ideological bent, will either go, this is dumb, why are they race changing a character? Or, why do you care so much about race? This shouldn't be that big a deal. And isn't it important for people to see themselves in these characters, yada, yada, yada. So I will address this issue politically. We're not a political podcast, so I'm not trying to give qualitative answers to this thing. There has been an emergence of an ideology in Western cultures in the last 20 years or so. Well, it's older, attached to socialist and communist movements. And it's the idea of group identity. And group identity
Right.
becomes more important and more prevalent to the individual. And you might go, what are you talking about? Well, you see this emerge in collectivist ideologies. It's not about you,
Right.
it's about your group. And that's why in new film, pop culture media, when they deliberately change race, the decision isn't because, well, he's the best person for the job, yada, yada, yada. The answers usually are, it's important for, let's say, black people to see themselves reflected in this black character because it's all about a group and the group's identity and how the group sees themselves. That's what's most important when it comes to this, which is why this gets infected into everything, because that's how people see it. It's not about individuals. So when it's like, well, that horrible white person, it's because you're seeing them as a group and you're labeling guilt attached to this person because of group, not because they did anything or committed any crime or did anything wrong. You're just collectively imposing everything onto that person solely based upon the group that they're attached to. And then this expands to things like
Right.
intersectionality, where groups have a lot of intersections between gender and race and economic background and social status and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up, not because I want to be political, but because politics has infected everything. Every damn thing that we consume and engage with, it is everywhere. And though I don't prescribe to this ideology, I have to engage with it because it's everywhere. Everywhere. It's in the video games, it's in the movies, it's in the television shows, it's the media I consume, it's the water I drink. It is everywhere. And the expectation that we're just going to change everything and you're all just going to have to view the world through this lens is simply being crammed down our throats. I'm going to tell you right now, Papa Saidu, I have zero beef with him. I don't know him personally, and no one should be sending death threats or attacking him on social media or saying mean things to him because he's getting a really good role and getting a really good payday. And he's come out and said, I'm getting death threats. That's wrong. You shouldn't attack people for things that they do, for simply being cast in a role. Okay? Now that we've established that, this is really stupid. Now, I know you're going to respond by saying, but why do you care so much about race? It shouldn't matter. It's not that big. It shouldn't matter if they change race. Why are you occupied about race? Guess what? If it doesn't matter, you wouldn't change it. And this is the worst argument I ever hear from people who are prescribers to this. If it doesn't matter, you wouldn't change the race in the first place. What this is you care. You care so much that it's more important to create representation in a show than to represent the show accurately, honestly, the way it was written, the way people saw it originally. It's more important that the ideology of identity politics takes center stage because your political messaging takes paramount over anything that happens, as opposed to art being created in an honest way. Now, is every race change in any sort of content a horrible situation? No, it sort of depends on how important it is to the character and how important the character really is. Sometimes it's fine, and sometimes it's not fine. When's it not fine? Well, a historical figure, when you know what they looked like, maybe that's when it's a poor decision. And how about Severus Snape? When he's deliberately been described in specific ways as pale, as kind of, sickly and gaunt looking. And then it's like, well, this shouldn't have any bearing to anything. Okay, well, let's just ask our question then. Because now that his race has changed, this casts vastly different colors on everything that happens in the show. You go, that's not true. Yep. Okay, well then explain to me why when Harry Potter mysteriously distrusts for no good reason the black guy at Hogwarts. Why don't you answer me the weird question of for some reason Neville is deathly afraid of the black guy at Hogwarts? Why don't you tell me why that's going to be really weird? How come in the first book, when everybody suspects that guy, when evil is happening, and it's the guy in the turban with the face on the back of his head, but for some reason everybody suspects Snape because they don't think it's the guy that's doing it. They suspect it's the black guy that's doing all of the stuff around the... Do you see how suddenly race casts a weird color to all of this? Not to mention that Harry's dad bullied Snape so badly they hung him from a tree. You're not going to tell me that's not going to add a weird color to the fact that this guy's race is now adding all of these odd dynamics that don't exist in the book, that now you're going to be like, oh, well, this looks really bad, you guys. This looks really bad. And these are just examples of the type of effect that this is going to have on the story, simply by changing his race alone. It's not because he's black. It's because it dramatically changes the color of the story. It's because he doesn't look like how he's described in the book. And even then, I'm open to the idea that the movie could be, or the show could be good, regardless of him being, because it's not his fault. Here's the problem. Right. You desperately need a show this expensive to be successful. And the only thing anyone's going to discuss is Snape is black. This is the only thing that's going to be brought up. This is going to color everything in the show. No one's going to give a shit about who Harry Potter is and what's happening with his character. The only thing the internet's talking about right now, the only thing that's going to color this show up and down is, guess what? Snape is black. That's it. Yep. You've turned your show into not only a massive cultural conversation of people throwing shit back and forth on either side. This has become a culture war issue now. Your show is at the center of it, and you've already created so much drama that you're almost guaranteeing your show's not going to be successful, when it could theoretically be good. But you're already shooting yourself in the damn face on purpose by doing these sorts of things. There could be other characters you could kind of change that probably wouldn't be as impactful as Snape changing his race. That probably wouldn't have been as bad, because considering context and everything. This is a bad decision for your show's success, because no one's talking about, hey, Harry Potter looks great, or Hermione looks great, or these. The only thing anyone has anything to talk about is, guess what? Snape is black. That's the only conversation we're going to have about the show at all. And it's your fault. You did this. Why are you ruining your chance of success way before the show even hits? I mean, this is guaranteed to have problems out the gate. And this is your fault. This is the only thing. No one's talking about, oh, the show looks good or whatever. You know what they're talking about? Snape is black. That's it. Oh, and the show looks really dark for some confusing reason. Congratulations, freaking
We got the
HBO.
gritty Harry Potter we always wanted.
Warner, you've screwed up. Now that I've said my piece, as somebody who hasn't watched Harry Potter or whatever, as Harry Potter fans, probably dramatically more than I am, how do you guys feel about the new trailer for Harry Potter?
Yeah, thing is that I have read 4 of the books. The thing is that the first 3 were okay and they were entertaining because they were kind of for kids and stuff. And then you start getting into book 4, which suddenly becomes a tome. And that's when I'm like, these are no longer really for kids now. Because you're really, really stretching it here, padding the length and things, and yeah. And I actually haven't seen any of the movies. I never really wanted to see any of them. So
you're a
I
massive
can't
fan?
even say. Yeah, the only thing I can say about this is that when they decided to cast this guy as Snape, I don't even know who he is. He could be a very fine actor. I don't know. I've never seen anything else that he's done. But it was from the get-go. It's like, ooh, that's a mistake. And that's the only thing that I can think about for at all in regard to this new Harry Potter show. I know that they've cast what's his name, played in Third Rock from the Sun, David Lithgow, John Lithgow, and he's been getting some backlash recently because people have been like, how dare you sign on to this when we know that J.K. Rowling is such a transphobe and he'd actually admitted that he'd thought of quitting the role because of all the stuff that had been going on with this. But yeah, you hate to see things crash and burn, because when they crash and burn, it takes the industry a while to recover from that. And then there might have been an adaptation of something that you really, really wanted to. And if this had been successful, that might have gotten a green light. But now they're like, no, we're not going to touch any of these things with a 10-foot pole because their money sinks. And the fans don't like them and blah, blah, blah. When they end up getting all the wrong messages from what they've released. We've talked about this before, where it's like, they have all these opportunities to learn lessons, but they always seem to learn the wrong lesson from their failures rather than making some course correction.
I thought we
But
learned
I
these
just
lessons
don't see this being,
with all these failures. I thought
just-
we learned this lesson. We're just doing it again. How many failures does
Yeah.
Hollywood need before they go, oh, these are poor decisions? Apparently, all the time, every day, hundreds of millions of dollars. But
I just don't see this being successful. Maybe it will be, but I just don't see it. I think I
have
think
you seen the
major
trailer?
fans. I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen the whole thing through. It seemed pretty standard from the first Harry Potter book. It followed. It
They
seemed
really leaned on the "we're really bullying Harry" in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just see it falling flat, and setting back entertainment, really.
Ross, you've actually read all of the Harry Potter books and are kind of a fan. How do you feel?
Well, it's funny, this casting, as far as the casting that we have so far, and that they, obviously don't know how things will go throughout the series, throughout the seasons, but the biggest drama should have been that an American is Dumbledore.
Yep.
That should
Yeah.
have been the biggest drama. And by the way, an American who played Winston Churchill, so, I mean, if you're going to pick an American, he's probably the best one. But
There's also a serial killer in Dexter.
True, and the father of a serial killer.
He was also
He's the bad guy in Cliffhanger.
the bad guy in Cliffhanger. Jason stole my obscure point.
Sorry.
Good job, Jason.
But instead we have, and I'm not the first one to say this, obviously, but Papa Asidu is a bad choice for a multitude of reasons. Not only is he the wrong race, at least as far as anything ever written in the Harry Potter books. I mean, and people, dude, I've literally seen people try to go like, well, black people can be pale, and it's like, not really, no.
Not pale.
Only if they have
can
no
be-
blood.
They can be pallid.
Yeah,
They can be albino.
yeah, like.
Well, then they're not really black, but I mean, they can have the blood drain from their face. They can get pallid, but they can't
it's
really
like,
be pale. They're not pale people.
yeah, and like greasy, long, stringy hair,
And
not typical of those of African descent.
instead, we get dreadlocks,
Yeah.
I guess.
And a hooked nose, again, not typically something people of African descent can typically get genetically, but like all these things are wrong. On top of that, and you could this next argument or point, you could maybe say about Alan Rickman, but Papa Asidu, on top of that, on top of the blatant obvious things, he's too good looking. He looks like he could be in GQ.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty decent looking dude.
He's a very handsome man.
No homo.
So not only did you pick a black guy, but you picked a really good-looking black guy, which is not correct.
Snape is supposed to be hideous.
Yeah,
Frankly, Alan Rickman. Yeah,
it's too good looking
like
for
frankly,
Snape.
Alan
Alan
Rickman,
Rickman
the-
did a
like,
good job, but it was a stretch,
he's-
right?
yeah, he's almost too good-looking, and he was also a little bit too old.
Yeah, a little too old.
But I don't know, man. Like you already cast an American. You had Adam Driver right there. Why not pick
I
him?
know.
Why
You're
not
like,
that?
oh, it's
True.
like
That's true.
Snape's son.
Like-
Driver.
It's just so baffling.
Adam Driver, yeah, that I could see him being Snape and being pretty good at it. Actually,
Yeah. Not to mention, the British Isles are replete with actors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors for
Yeah,
how
yeah.
small of a place that is. Find a guy, like
That looks correct.
at least mostly. Jesus God, like how hard could this be?
I'm going to be
And-
honest. I also would have been like, Brad Pitt's not a good role for being Severus
No!
Snape.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I mean, number one, he's 60, so it's like this man is way too old. Like at most, Snape should be like my age. He should be in like his mid-30s. Like that's about how old he should be. Like any like you could maybe fudge it a little more, if they're a youthful
Yeah,
looking person. But anything more than that, you're playing with fire because then you have to go have serious questions about how old this man was in what is essentially wizarding high school. Was he held back for like 5 years? What happened? It just so anyway. This what should have been the drama is John Lithgow, and instead we have to talk about somebody's fucking skin color, which is so irritating. It's just baffling. Number one, people of color throughout the books. I mean, are they dominant? No, but it's Britain in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of people of color throughout the United Kingdom. There just
Well,
wasn't.
According to some sources, I hear they've been there all the time.
No, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, since
Yep.
Rome, right?
Uh-huh.
And it just, there might have been some West Indians in like London, some East Indians in a couple of the big cities, but like, there just wasn't a lot of some Nigerians, maybe, a couple, but London was predominantly white people, predominantly British, not even a lot of foreign European whites. I mean, it was white people still in the 90s. It was just starting to change. Barely. I mean, not even predominantly, just barely starting to see change. So, what are we doing here? Is this supposed to be a period? Like, everything, this throws the whole stupid show on its ear for no good reason.
No.
I mean, if you just had to cast Papa Asidu, give him Shacklebolt later. If you just have to have him in there. It just is baffling,
Well,
and I
there are
feel
a
bad
number
for
of-
him to some degree.
There are a number of people who appear in the book that could easily be race swapped without compromising the story. But
Well,
when you
yeah.
compromise, when you race swap one of the essential characters who has a very particular description, that you really need to find somebody who matches that description as closely as you reasonably can to make it feel like you're actually in that setting, in that particular world. What you're doing right now is you're pulling everybody out because of this decision that you've made. You're making it so they can no longer suspend their disbelief. And as Rhett rightly pointed out, you're introducing a whole host of problems that really aren't there,
That change things contextually.
but you're making these for yourself.
Well, and the reality is, like, if I'm just going to be the most cynical,
Oh.
they wanted to race swap somebody that was important and there early
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
That's what they wanted.
Mhm.
Granted, do I have proof of this? No. Does it seem a little obvious? Yes. And because you start thinking through it, like, well, who could you have race swapped? I mean, theoretically, you could have race swapped McGonagall. Would it have made much sense? No. But,
It
you
wouldn't have
could
been
have.
as damaging to the story.
Well, it wouldn't
Yeah.
have brought up really uncomfortable questions.
Yes.
Because,
How come
of
Neville
like,
is so
hey,
racist?
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it would have maybe been better because McGonagall is a really genuinely a pretty good person and wants to see these kids do well and protect them. Maybe that's a little bit too magical Negro-y for some people at HBO, but
Well, I
everybody's
did think-
magical.
I did think Dumbledore, but then I thought maybe not because of that exact thing.
I mean, Sirius
And-
Black would have been on the nose, but
Yes, because then my next thought was well, why not Vernon Dursley? And it's well, then you have a black man abusing a small white child horribly for no good reason, and it's well, that's not a good look either. But you have the same problem with Snape. He's abusive to these kids for no reason other than I wanted to bang your mother. Cool.
and she was not receptive.
Yeah, she
No.
wouldn't give in
She
to me.
ran off with your bully.
The guy who, hung me upside down from a tree that won't look awkward in the next, few years when we finally have to film that fucking season. I mean, unless they make Peter Pettigrew black, which also, if we're going off of the... Twitter will have a field day with that one. But on both sides of that political aisle, because, the Weasley little rat man is the black guy? Great.
You
But
do
then,
Malfoy,
all right, so-
and then it's why is the bully black now? And it's you can't. It causes so many problems.
It calls
It's so
himself
bad.
pure blood.
Oh my god, I know.
Oh, no.
It's just so bad.
Because
So then
there's
it's
racial undertones with the conversations of mixed blood in the wizard
Yes.
world in this story. It causes
It's all-
so many problems.
It's
I need to look
almost
up the
like
Harry Potter character. Oh no, Argus Filch. I can't do that.
no, can't have the weirdo. No, the barely magical
Gilderoy
weirdo.
Lockhart.
Oh, the fake, the liar. Yeah, you can't have
No,
that
I
guy.
can't do that either.
No. That
Let's
has
look at a
awkward.
black character, Dean Thomas. Hey, how you doing?
Not big enough. No, he's not.
He's
No.
not
no.
central or popular enough. Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah,
Professor
yeah.
Slughorn.
I can't
Nope,
remember
okay.
that
I
one.
mean,
It.
you might be able to get away with Hagrid.
Hagrid
No,
might be
okay.
fine.
No, you want to know the problem?
guy
He's
who
half
lives out in a
giant.
shed.
You can't do that one
That's
either.
true.
Well,
Because here's
get
the problem.
Shaquille O'Neal. He's huge.
Hey,
But
what's up,
also,
y'all? My name's
The thing
Hagrid.
about his
I'm a
backstory
wizard,
is
y'all.
that he's not trusted to use magic anymore, so it was taken away from him.
Yeah, and then he has dangerous animals. What is it gonna? Is Fluffy gonna be 3 pit bulls? Be the Cerberus pit bull?
Is he having dog fights?
Yeah, what? So and here's the problem. Because of the Harry Potter has these certain aspects in the story that are meant to remind the reader of real life issues.
Yeah.
Things like wizarding blood and blood purity within the wizarding world. Well, what's that supposed to remind you of? Well, obviously. But the problem is that now you've brought your weird modern foibles into a story and that isn't that old, first of all. And so now you have people getting mad at so they're bullying the Half-Blood Prince, the black guy. Great. Good job. You did it. It's almost like
God.
you just went so on the nose.
He's the Half-Blood Prince.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So they're bullying him because of his blood purity. Awesome. Cool.
You
That's
can
really
make him
good.
Harry Potter, so he's just bullied constantly by all the white kids.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, honestly, people would have come apart. And again, because the descriptions are very... he's white. But, like, at least then... Oh, my God. The hero's black and, but it's just, like, who are you trying to please? Because you're not going to please everybody. You're going to piss off a sizable chunk of people. And I think you picked the wrong one.
Well,
All they needed to do was cast an actor who looked like Snape, and then everybody would have been happy.
well, because you know who doesn't get pissed off? People who get when they cast them correctly. That people don't.
Well, especially when they were selling this as a more accurate to the books than the movies. Because they'll have more time.
You know what I hate? The fact that we have to discuss this.
Oh,
How
it's so
this
stupid.
is. I hate that we have to have this big discussion about the race of this character. Because
Yes.
because they have to do this sort of thing. It's funny, the internet either gets really extreme when they talk about, oh, it's bullshit, or they get really aggressive defending it. Very few people really want to have an adult conversation about this because people have very strong ideological positions on whether or not they think it's okay or not. I'm telling you, in a context where it's not going to really be that bad to the story, or he's not as aggressively described as specifically, and fans aren't going to get like there are characters you could change that probably wouldn't be that big a deal. This character is going to cause a huge of contextual problems in the story that you're now going to have to face of like, well, why did you make the black guy the one that they hung from a tree? Yeah, why did you do that, WB? That's a weird choice. Are you racist, WB? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. Well, because race is important and we need to see ourselves. So the only way you can watch a show, which is weird, is by seeing people of a similar race in the show. My mother watches a lot of Korean shows and she doesn't look Korean. And she seems to find a way to exhibit empathy and interest in characters that don't have similar backgrounds or races as she does. I can connect with black characters all the time. I love Friday. It's a great movie. Ross knows, I bring it up.
Oh, yeah.
But why do we have to be so ideologically bent that we have to separate each other so much that they're essentially stating you lack the capacity to relate to characters that don't look like you? That's weird. That's really... Aren't we all supposed to be humans? Aren't we all supposed to be able to relate and connect with one another? But for some reason, we can't even have an adult conversation about this, where we discuss if this is a good idea, what it changes, what effect it's going to have on the characters and the story, and how poor a decision it is, not just for the character development and honoring the original story and how it fits into everything, but on top of that, how this is going to be the pallor that casts itself across all of the show over everything, because this is the only thing anyone's going to talk about. Why do you insist on continuing to make these mistakes? Why is this your intent forever, that you have to just keep ruining things with poor decisions like this? This is so stupid. Believe it or not, if I was watching a show like, I don't know, Black Panther, and Black Panther was a white guy, I'd be like, well, this is bullshit. He's not a white guy.
Yeah.
Because he's a black
one.
guy, and everything about that character is supposed to be a black guy because he's from a fictional country in Africa that has... there are reasons why these characters are supposed to be reflecting the places they're from and the reasons why there's cultural considerations and it oh my god. Sorry, I bogarted the more detailed conversation about the Harry Potter story, but I am so pissed off that not only is this is a thing and everybody's going to have to talk about it, but that it has to be a topic at all. I really don't want to drag race through. I don't want to drag Papa Saito through all of this drama because he doesn't deserve it. He's just taking a really good role where he's probably being paid really good money.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's taking what's going to be, if HBO can keep their shit in a pile, a regular role, you know, at least decently paying, if not well paying. Like in the acting world of today, he'd be stupid not to take it. So I mean, I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him at all.
If somebody offered me $1 million to play Black Panther, I would take it. It would be a poor decision on their part, but it would be a good decision for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's this immediately, I think everybody then goes, because this was going to be a battle they were going to have to fight anyway. Of why are we doing this? Why are we doing this again? But with that change in particular, it's like, ugh, why are we doing this again? Like why?
I thought we
have the movies. Yeah, we have the movies, so I'm not going to watch this because there's no point. This should have been a layup. This should have been a layup for Warner, and they decided to make it so hard.
Oh my gosh! Why?
Well, can't help themselves.
Silver, as a diehard Harry Potter fan, at least more than I am, or Jason. What do you feel? How do you feel?
My mind is currently breaking over the implication fact of some scenes because I keep thinking of more.
How weird it's going to be now because there's going to be this weird racial context to it.
The one I keep thinking of is during the Quidditch match when Hermione sets him on fire.
Oh my god.
Those are like, something's going on with Harry's broomstick. Who's doing it? It must be the black guy.
Well, imagine just the three of them sitting there going, I don't trust the black guy for some reason.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Because they didn't question it at all during that scene. They didn't like look around and go, "Oh, could be this person, could be this person." They zeroed in on
it's
Snape.
That guy.
It's like the one black teacher in like the teacher stands. It's like Tim.
What? Why is Neville suspiciously afraid of the black guy at school?
Oh, doesn't Oh yeah, that was one scene where they have like it's like a trunk that your worst fear pops out. So he's just gonna be looking at the trunk, and here comes Black Severus Snape.
The Bogart.
Yeah, the Bogart.
I was like, oh no, Neville, you're afraid of black guys.
And then his solution is to make him look like his grandma.
I mean, there's so many problems. Why, Harry
Somebody
Potter?
wants to steal the valuable stone. Well, it's got to be the black guy.
Well, it's funny. I guarantee you're going to see articles across the internet. There's been a mixed response. No.
We're purely against it. This is awful.
And it's funny, like, there is some outrage, don't get me wrong, but it's mostly just laughing and going like, what the hell are they doing? It's mostly that, just like making jokes about it, because it's like so dumb.
It's been ratioed. It's been more downvoted than upvoted.
Yeah, of course.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. They did something really dumb.
I mean, who wouldn't answer, wouldn't say this, or it's just you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't understand.
Oh gosh.
It's going to be a layup. The hardest part would have been the production schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are certain things, the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek even. There's certain things that you would think that they're just there to print money and that they couldn't do something wrong. But then we get things like Starfleet Academy and The Witcher season 2 and beyond, and
Don't underestimate
like, oh
Hollywood's
my
ability
gosh.
to screw things up.
And now all of those are dead. They're getting stuffed into the ditch of history. They've been shot in the back of the head. Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. I mean, let's not forget the glory of Rings of Power.
Glory.
Oh,
Ugh.
don't remind me. I'm having flashbacks to our viewing schedule.
Well, guess what? Another massive conversation, everybody. In a weird turn of events, the failed talk show host, Stephen Colbert, Colbert, if you will, showed up in a video talking to Peter Jackson. And lo and behold, Stephen Colbert is writing the new Lord of the Rings movie.
No!
Please no.
Now, I know people have come out in his defense, and they're like, but you do realize he's a massive Lord of the Rings fan. My response is, so am I! That doesn't mean I can write a movie! What on earth makes you think that simply being a huge fan of Lord of the Rings means that you can write a movie? And
But
what
it's been a
earth?
thing on the internet that he's a huge fan. He's like an expert, right?
Okay,
He was so big a fan, they put him in The Hobbit.
doesn't
Oh,
mean you
wait.
should write a movie.
Oh.
Like, what? He's a comedy guy. And what earth do people think that he has the capacity to write the new Lord of the Rings movie? And then they go, well, guess what, though?
Apparently
His
the internet-
son is a screenwriter, and his son is also writing it with him. And my response is, have you looked up his son on IMDb? He has 0 credits as a screenwriter. At what point is he actually a screenwriter? Yeah, but Philippa Boyens is also participating in writing this with them. Then my
Oh, no,
response is
please
going to
no.
be, guess what? Though Philippa Boyens, an Oscar-winning scriptwriter, participant in the original Lord of the Rings, also wrote War of the Rohirrim, a massive piece of shit. So
Yeah.
none of this gives me confidence in any way. It's like they thought this was going to be a weird layup of like, guess what? Stephen Colbert is a part of it. His show is so bad and unfunny, it's getting canceled.
Yeah.
No one's in love with him except for Hollywood.
This feels like a desperation move from both
Yeah.
parties, you know?
Obviously they're trying to appease us by saying or by implying that because Stephen Colbert is a fan, he's not going to screw us over. You know, he's going to stick true to Tolkien's original vision, blah 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 blah. And so we have nothing to worry about. This is going to be fine. You all will love it. It's like, well,
There's no guarantee of any of that.
yeah. He's from Hollywood, so that's strike one against him. He's a comedian, and these aren't comedies. Strike two. He doesn't write scripts, as far as I know. Strike three.
Well, he's
Um,
written comedy scripts. Doesn't mean he can write
So,
Lord
okay,
of the
so-
Rings.
Right. So at least he has some experience writing a script. Not the right genre, but he has some experience. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's written
But
some
yeah,
shows. I think a movie or something.
Did any of them do any good?
No, look, it's relevant. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Strike
know-
five.
You know what? There are some really good writers out there. Most of them
That's true.
can't make a good Lord of the Rings movie. Let alone
That's true,
Stephen
too.
Colbert, of all people. And I'm going to even set aside whether or not you like the guy or not. He's a bad choice to write a Lord of the Rings movie. And I'm sick and tired of people going, well, he's a huge fan. He knows so much about Lord of the Rings. So do I. I shouldn't write the next movie just because he's a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but he's such a huge fan, like Jason was saying, he'll do it justice. Here, let me point out, not only is he a hyper-political individual, now, whether you agree with him or not, that's perfectly fine. But he's a hyper-political individual who leans left-wing. Well, that shouldn't have a factor, except for the fact he's adapting a work from a very, very traditionally minded man who was Catholic.
Yeah.
Do you really think he understands the mind of Tolkien? I'm pretty sure Tolkien wouldn't agree with him at all and probably wouldn't even like the guy because Tolkien didn't like a lot
Probably
of things.
not.
So what makes you think that somehow Stephen Colbert is still qualified to write this movie? I don't understand. And then you're like, well, what movie is it going to be? Well, apparently he sat down with his son and they were talking about it. And they're like, you know that section in Lord of the Rings that they didn't really do, with the hobbits and the Barrow Downs and all the stuff that happened over there. Well, there's probably a story in there that hasn't been told. So what? You're going to write a movie that comes in the middle of Fellowship? Are we going to get old hobbits back for this movie? Are we suddenly going to have to CGI Fat Sam, who's even fatter now, to somehow return for this film? What are you talking about? A film inserted in the middle of Fellowship? Really? What do you mean there's a movie here? They're too old for this.
So apparently we're getting the Old Forest
Yes.
and the Fog on the Barrow Downs
Yeah.
as a movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe Tom Bombadil.
Hollywood,
I don't know.
you can't be this stupid.
Yeah.
Please.
No, they're very stupid. And Hollywood thinks this is a layup.
Damn right they do.
Because everybody loves Stephen Colbert
This is horrible.
in Hollywood. In Hollywood. He's not popular. His show's being canceled. He's not funny. Well, I guess if he's not funny, he's probably at least not going to put comedy into it because it's not going to be funny.
Oh
He'll try and make the movie funny, and it'll be about as funny as his show was, which is not at all.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously.
How many times do I need to rage this podcast out of the stupidity? I thought Hollywood had learned their lesson. How many failures are required before they figure this out? How many times did War of the Rohirrim didn't damage the brand of Lord of the Rings enough? War of the Rohirrim. This lessens Lord of the Rings. This lessens it.
Yes, it does.
This lessens the value of the
So either
brand
they're
and
going to
people's.
recast all the hobbits.
But it wouldn't work because this is supposed to participate in the same universe, Jason.
I know. I'm not. There's so many red flags here.
Sean
So
Astin's
many red
really
flags.
fat.
Yeah.
He's fat.
It's just he is.
Well, get him on a diet, man.
We're we gonna have to uncanny valley the crap out of this, where they're all de-aged to hell.
Oh yeah.
And
Or it's
honestly,
gonna be a cartoon.
I don't.
Even worse. Oh, it's gonna be cartoon. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
They're
did
gonna
they
do the
declare it was gonna
Firefly
be?
treatment.
Did they declare it was gonna be a cartoon?
Firefly thing?
Well, no, the Firefly thing. Yeah, I was talking about the movie. I think this is supposed to be live action.
The thing is if they don't de-age it, just CGI the crap out of this thing.
Yeah.
The only other way they can get around the fact that their principal actors they're either going to have to recast everybody, or their principal actors are way too old for the parts now, and they're going to turn it into a cartoon. That's the only way they could get around it. Just draw at everybody and have everybody be do the voiceover work instead.
No one's gonna see the movie. They barely
No.
saw War of the
don't think
Rohirrim,
they're
and it
gonna-
was bad.
No.
Yeah, it was.
This is a good decision. What are you talking about? Hollywood's great. Nothing's failing. We're not losing money constantly. We're not offending our fans perpetually. This is great.
Everything's good.
It's almost too stupid to really, like the Severus Snape stuff. There's like a more in-depth conversation. This is like, what the hell are you guys doing?
What's the plan here? What were you
What's the decision making behind
what were you
this?
thinking sort of long term?
What are you doing there, champ? Is this
What's
really a
going
good
on here,
idea?
slugger?
Oh,
Come
it's
on,
gonna
buckaroo.
suck. Oh, it's just this is more guaranteed to suck than Harry Potter. Because Harry Potter,
Oh,
despite
yeah.
the drama around the character, could be good. This is
Hmm.
not going to be good.
No.
It's just what next? They're going to announce is directed by James Gunn.
Hell yeah. See, now it's saved, brother.
The right decision. He's going to put like weird, quirky pop music into Lord of the Rings.
Oh god.
What you don't understand is that Frodo is really a punk rocker. He's punk rock.
I'm
to
a
be
punk
Frodo.
rocker, yes I am.
He was punk rock all the way, man. And when they were talking about, weed, we all know what they were talking about, really.
Silver.
Ah,
It's gonna be great. How do you feel?
Wake up.
I'm not here. I feel great about everything happening, especially Harry Potter.
Everything's great.
Oh
I
good.
can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be hilarious.
So bad.
I've gone
Oh,
insane.
you see the memes?
Oh, the Harry Potter memes?
With
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They're great. What do you mean? Oh, they're so good.
I'm just looking forward to Colbert writing a scene in the new Lord of the Rings where all of the hobbits dance dressed up as vaccines to try and encourage people to get vaccines.
Yes.
Oh, yeesh.
Because that was a good decision. Okay, well, we got a lot more news. We've gone over the big things. Hey, Ross, remember there's a weird problem going on with Hearts of Iron in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently,
you telling me about
Canada's
this.
federal government is worried about extremism recruited through video games, especially mods for a game called Hearts of Iron, which recreates World War II. Hearts of Iron 4. I got the number wrong, Ross.
Oh?
Yeah. It was 317,000.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, you told me like 200 million, and I was like, no, that can't. That's crazy. I mean, $317,000 just for somebody to play.
To
Hearts of Iron
understand
4
if there's
mod.
racism and people becoming extremist activated in Hearts of Iron 4.
It's still bad. Listen, still ridiculous. I want to make that very clear. Still really bad. However,
Canada can throw this money around.
oh yeah, they're definitely not worse economically than Alabama now. That's not a thing they have to worry about, right?
Apparently extremists may make video games to normalize or introduce political rhetoric for their cause. Thus, it's important to investigate extremism in Hearts of Iron 4. I'm going to be honest. You can't really talk about World War II or play a game set in World War II without some Yahtzee players being involved. You really can't avoid the situation. I don't know what to tell you. I also find communism abhorrent. You can't really do Hearts of Iron or a World War II set game without kind of communism being brought up into the conversation. Simply avoiding the issue doesn't make it go away. Nobody's praising the Yahtzee party. Yeah, but mods. I was like, yeah, and mods also make weird mods to favor other stuff. You can't coddle people into not believing things you don't want them to believe in. Believe it or not, there's this weird thing where you try and get kids not to do something and they're like, oh, do it harder.
Yeah. It's like you can't make a game or something about the United States Civil War and leave out, the South and slavery and
But it'd be really
and all that
convenient
other
if I
stuff.
could, because it scares me.
Why don't we get more positive? There's been a stabbing at the Pokemon shop in Tokyo.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
I'm positive that there's been this.
A female employee at the Pokemon merchandise shop was stabbed to death at Tokyo's commercial complex on Thursday.
Jesus.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh!
The suspect assailant also died after stabbing himself, shocking shoppers during the children's spring break season in Japan.
Oh.
Oh,
They
oh my
think it has
gosh.
something to do. Let's see. Maybe has something to do with Pokemon cards.
Got
I
the
want to be
Charizard.
the
He could-
very best.
He could have been creeping on her. It's hard to say. Japan has that problem.
Yes.
There was a stabbing in America where 2 people died over Pokemon cards, but it was at a GameStop.
Oh my god. Can I just say something? Is that the
Yeah.
most embarrassing place to die?
At a GameStop?
Especially over Pokemon cards. You weren't even there for video games. You're just there to fight over fucking Pokemon cards. Jesus God.
Hooters is a funny place to die at.
It's where as God intended,
Yeah.
frankly.
While they're clapping for your birthday thing, you just choke
Yeah.
and die.
Clapping,
Clapping.
hopefully jumping up and down in excitement for me because I 1 year close, and then I just bam, heart attack, dead. Last thing I see, very happy.
All right. Rumor, take it
know
for
how
what it
often it's
is,
to go
but
out.
from a credible source on the internet, we seem to be having an indicator that we're going to get an Ocarina of Time remake for the second half of 2026
Mm.
on the Switch 2.
Oh dear Lord.
That might actually make it worth getting a Switch too.
If they do a good job.
Hopefully that
Yeah.
moves some units for old Nintendo there.
Old Ross.
Old Ross.
Ocarina of Time's a great game. It's probably still my favorite Zelda. It feels small and dated now, but it's still really good. So they could remake it to some degree, make the dungeons a bit bigger, make the outer world a bit bigger. They're also super hyper fans that you shouldn't change too much about the dungeons. You could add
Right.
content.
Yeah.
Adding
Mhm.
content's not bad. Honestly, the water temple's still really bad. So you could
Yeah.
fix it.
Oh.
But Ocarina of Time's a great game, and there's probably a lot of things you could do to expand upon it graphically, make it look better. I wouldn't feel bad if the gameplay was a bit more of a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom sort of thing. Not the weapon system, though.
Yeah.
All right, just the weapon system. You got it.
Yeah, they keep the graphics the same, everything the same, weapon system breaks.
You're very welcome.
Just
Everything's a Deku stick now.
poured over the worst part of Breath of the Wild.
The shields break too. You're welcome.
That's a good decision. I hope the rumor's true. It seems plausibly credible, but we'll still have to see until something more definitive comes down the line.
Hmm.
Hey, Ryan Gosling has some interesting things to say about Hollywood recently. In an interview when talking about Project Hail Mary, because it's doing really well in the box office, and believe it or not, a Hollywood movie's apparently really good. I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Anyway, there's a lot of positive buzz, and people are really happy about it. But he made some interesting comments about Hollywood in an interview. I'm trying to find the bigger quote, but let's just read the title and move on. Basically, Ryan Gosling says that Hollywood needs to stop telling moviegoers that it's not moviegoers' job to keep theaters open, that it's our job to make things that are worth viewers coming out, which is 1,000% the point.
Yeah. What was it that we said last week?
What have we been saying for 2 years?
Uh-huh.
It's like Ryan Gosling knows what he's talking about. Another surprising, accurate take. Vince Vaughn has been criticizing late night TV. He says that they have political agendas and it stopped being funny and started to feel like I was in class being talked down to. This was on Theo Vaughn's podcast. And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
No,
It's just
the last
talk shows
the
aren't
last
funny.
funny late night show was Craig Ferguson, and that was about it.
Conan before he moved. And then just Craig Ferguson. Because Conan got worse when he got bigger. The funniest part of Conan is it was basically just, this is the crappy late night show nobody's seen, so we can just screw around and whatever. And you can't do that humor when you're the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're the
tough.
big show now. You can't do stupid humor that no one's watching. It's really late at night when you're the Tonight Show.
He's a big show.
He's a big bad show tonight. Also, Captain Insano. We are getting a Netflix price hike
Oh.
Great.
That doesn't surprise me.
again.
Oh.
Look forward to everybody hating Netflix and then refusing to cancel their subscriptions.
It will never end.
Let's see. Crimson Dessert has done really well, and it's really popular. There was some weird... I'm going to give you some background really quickly. So, pre-Crimson Dessert being released, apparently a lot of critics lambasted the show, or the game, for being really bad and not being that great. And it had an appreciable effect on the company's stock. This is a Korean company that made the game. Game comes out, and people love the game. And it recovered its losses and then some in the stock market, making people also now ask questions: how valuable or useful are game critics in the first place? Because they seem to be completely wrong about this game. Ross.
Don't look behind the curtain.
like they lambasted it as being bad so much the stock went down 30%. And then people loved it. This game has sold 3 million copies, which is a banger for this day and age.
Yeah.
Especially
Huh?
at this time period, because it hasn't been out that long.
Mm.
I mean, Ghost of Yote did 3 million over its lifespan.
Oh.
So
But it was
good,
still a hit.
good-
It was still really successful.
good for Red Velvet Cake. It seems like it's going to be a great game. I haven't played it. I'm not willing to spend the $80 at the moment. Maybe when it's on sale for 10 years from now.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
The Spider-Man trailer has reached 1 billion,
Okay.
which is huge because it hasn't been out that long.
Yeah.
And we've also had another banger. Hollywood's been just hitting bangers this year, just out of the park. Every single release, every expectation that everybody was going to be hyped for everything that Hollywood talked about. Announced the new Lord of the Rings movie with Stephen Colbert. Awesome. Everybody's excited about that. How about the new Harry Potter trailer? People didn't complain there. Well, Ross, we also have the live-action Moana trailer, and it looks like horseshit.
Yeah, it looks really stupid.
The Rock somehow still looks bald. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh.
Well, he looks a little thin in the face because he's an older guy.
What can I say? So you're welcome.
They honestly should have just gotten a big Samoan guy. It'd have been fine.
I don't.
Hey, yeah. Well, yeah. I mentioned this to you, Rat. I
I've
wonder.
heard your theory. Yes.
Yes. Here's my theory. When the first Moana was made back in 2016, 10 whole years ago, The Rock was perhaps at the pinnacle of his power in Hollywood.
Yeah.
His magic powers.
His magic powers to make really shit movies make money.
Hmm.
What if it was a part of his contract when he signed on that any future like version of the character he has first right of refusal to play? Like, what if? I'm not saying it's true. I have no evidence of this. I'm pulling this completely out of my ass.
You might. The only thing I might say that you might have something there is he notoriously has a huge, like, control he exerts over movies when he's in charge. Like
Yeah.
being involved with Black Panther, he really swung his weight around, controlling what decisions.
Oh,
were
you mean
made.
Black Adam?
Black Adam? No, he was Black Panther, Ross. In Black Adam, to the point where, like, Black Adam is a villain to the character Shazam, and he didn't think Shazam was on his level, and he demanded that Henry Cavill Superman show up at the end like they're going to have a fight, even though he's not Superman's villain.
No.
He's Shazam's villain because they have the same powers and a lightning bolt on
From
their
the same
chest.
source.
It's the same stupid thing. But here we are. We got a Black
I mean, the
Adam
thing is
movie, and
that-
it sucked.
They hire him for Moana, and they could have the expectation that Moana could lead to Moana 2, so they might say, you know, we will, if we do get the green light, we write it into your contract that, you know, any future use of the character will come to you first. So I could totally see that being in the contract, just because of the kind of the nature of Disney right now, where if something does well, they immediately green light a sequel to it, and almost as soon as they've finished doing that, they also green light the live action remake.
Look, maybe so. Here's my problem. He looks too old, and he's actually more
Yeah.
dynamic and engaging as a animated character than a real life boring version. And I was bored by his character, and I like his character in the animated show. In the live action,
Right.
he looks boring. I somehow
Yeah.
looking at him is more boring than the animated version, because the animated version is all dynamic and he's got stuff going on. Then I just see old man Rock standing there like, I have a stupid joke, you guys.
Do you notice how, like, this is supposed to take place in the Pacific Ocean, right? Like the beautiful Pacific
Yep.
Islands, bright, sunny, beautiful. This movie looks drab. How'd
Yep.
they pull that off? What the fuck?
Yeah, the animated show is so much more bright.
Filter.
Moana
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
Yeah,
looks,
I mean,
she looks great.
Catherine Lagai.
Awesome.
I also, how come? I have a question. Tamora Morrison played the chief, like Moana's father in the
Uh-huh.
movie, in the animated movie.
Uh-huh.
Why the hell isn't he back for that?
I don't know.
That's really irritating. You brought the stupid fucking Rock back, but you can't give Tamora Morrison a... Oh, I know why. Never mind. I just remembered.
You put two and two together, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Never mind. Just realized he pissed off Disney in another franchise.
He did. He really did.
Okay. I was gonna say, because... So what if he's old and fat in this one? Oh, right. Yeah, he was old and fat in Boba Fett, and they're mad at him. Okay.
Well, he also said some things about Disney.
Mhm.
He's a great actor, though. I like him.
I love Tamora Morrison. I was so excited when he was in the animated one. I had hoped his role would be bigger, but, you know, it's how Disney movies go. It's always the young kid that, it's fine. I want him to be paid more money, always.
You offend the mouse, he'll eat your soul.
Mm-hmm.
He'll come for you.
He's gonna come for me.
Coming for you, Silver.
Ah.
Everything sucks. What a great week for Hollywood.
It's really good. A lot of great announcements. People are really excited, you know.
Every
No criticism.
announcement is just abysmally reacted to.
It's really, really good, you know.
You know what? It's funny. There have been some podcasts I've heard from people where this guy normally he just craps on everything, and he talked about something he liked, and people got angry because they're like, you're supposed to be angry at everything. I would prefer talking about good stuff.
Oh, me too.
Why would I
And
be
it's-
angry about something I like?
Well, and it's like, well,
Doesn't make any
freaking
sense.
people being pissed off gets more engagement, and it's like, well, first of all, we got no engagement, so that ain't working.
Oh.
And second of all, I mean, I'm going to talk about it if it's bad, and I'm going to talk about it if it's good. I liked Anaconda, the remake. I liked that. That was kind of funny. It was more of
Or
a meta
the actual
commentary.
Sony team gets eaten.
Yeah. Well, it's like a meta commentary of an old movie, which is weird. Hey, everybody,
Very-
remember Anaconda with J-Lo and Ice Cube? We're going to talk about the old Anaconda in our new Anaconda.
It's a remake. And it's a movie about remaking Anaconda.
Yeah, it's a movie about remaking the original Anaconda movie. That's what it's about. It was funny. I enjoyed it. What is it? Sad Gone Blue or something. It's got Wolverine in it. That's pretty good. It's about the guys that were. Yeah, I gotta look this up. It's gonna piss me off now. I really enjoyed it. Hugh Jackman.
Oh.
Song Sung Blue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I enjoyed it. They're a Neil Diamond cover band. It was a lot of fun. It's a good movie. There are movies out there that are good, just none of the big Hollywood tentpole films.
Not so much, sadly. Apparently, Project Hail Mary, but
Apparently so.
apparently. But I'm going to be honest, where I'm living right now, I'm not driving an hour for that goddamn movie. There's very few movies I would drive an hour to watch, and that's my situation these days.
Yeah, I started watching Primal. That's good.
Oh, yeah, the Tartakovsky.
Yeah. It is
yeah.
it is an emotional, depressing movie with no dialogue.
Nope. Yep.
Well, it's a show. It's a series. And it is
Yeah.
emotional and depressing, and no one talks because he's a caveman.
It's very brutal.
It is a very brutal show. It's good. I mean, there's good stuff out there. There's good stuff all over the place. So keep your eyes open. We're here to laugh about Hollywood. Yeah. Yeah. We've come to a gentle end.
Nice, gentle
I've blown my
beaching
rage.
of the whale.
The whale is rotting its carcass on the beach.
It's about to explode from all the pressure.
It's gonna hit the kids. Good. Silver, how you doing?
Yeah.
What do you feel about tonight's conversation?
It's making me feel great about the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Super positive vibes I'm catching here. It's so good.
How about Lord of the Rings? You excited for a future Lord of the Rings?
That one, I'm crying eternally. I'm genuinely terrified. Like, what the heck?
Well, Moana, maybe. Moana?
No.
Oh. Harry Potter, you're a big Harry Potter fan, though. You look forward to...
I'm looking forward to the memes, like I said earlier.
No, there's nothing pleasing you, Silver. Goodness.
Yeah, I know, I'm so hard to please,
Freaking negative Nancy over here.
but my gosh.
Got a bee in your
It's not going
bonnet.
well either, is it?
Goodness, girl. Ross, you looking forward to the future of everything?
Yeah, it's good times are coming. The supposed replacement for movies and TV is apparently also going to explode like a fetid whale carcass on a beach on a hot summer day. So that's good, you know.
Descriptive.
It's nice. It's really, really good. Everything's going good.
Game industry seems healthy.
Very, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problems there at all. Smooth sailing, I would say. Expensive, smooth sailing.
Jason, the notoriously most negative person on the podcast. How are you doing, Jason?
Boy, I'm thinking that it can't come soon enough for the San Andreas Fault to open up and California to sink into the Pacific Ocean.
Nintendo will still try and release a bad iteration of Ocarina of Time.
They'll try, but we won't let them.
Well, it's like the fall of the Yahtzee party in World War II. We've got other things to do. Why are we still trying to put out copies of Ocarina of Time?
Because that was our heyday.
The world
It's
is
the golden
ending.
age of Zelda.
We have priorities. Oh my gosh. Well, I appreciate you all coming along. It's been a podcast. I don't want to
We've been a
wait
podcasting.
for my podcast to be over.
Beautiful.
Our podcast is over, everybody. Go home. Go to bed or be engaging on the YouTube or whatever social media. Revolve your life around propping up this podcast.
Damn it.
Watch
For the love of God.
shorts.
Make comments
Before we
and
get
like
blocked
and
by YouTube.
become part of the cult. Be enraptured. Eventually, there is a spaceship coming, and it will pick us all up. I am preparing the Yoo-hoo. There's nothing funny in it. That's because
No.
we can't afford the Kool-Aid. I've got Yoo-hoo. All right, time to go. Thanks. Bye.
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.